An Ask LOJ edition that's become Fan Frustration Friday. It's next on Locked on Jazz. Bum 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 bum.
You are Locked on Jazz, your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz. Part of the Locked on Podcast Network. Your team every day.
How are you? I'm David Locke, radio voice of the Utah Jazz, Jazz NBA insider. This is Locked on Jazz. It's your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz, giving you insight, expertise, geeky numbers, and hopefully making it way better to be a Jazz fan each and every day. Thank you so much for making Locked on Jazz your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. If you can't tell, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm super uncomfortable. There's a new trend in the world that I absolutely detest, which is hotel rooms without desks and hotel rooms without lighting. There's literally not an overhead light in this room, and there is no desk. There's a little table and then these really weird yellow chairs, and I'm sitting in one and trying to figure out how I possibly am going to look normal doing this show. So for those of you who look like I'm on some cheesy yellow chair in a lounge, yep, that's what it looks like. To the everydayers out there, thank you so much for joining, and I'm so excited to welcome in some brand new everyday club members. Kurt Burnett, who I have known for a long time. His daughter's a hero. He's a close friend. She's a close friend from many years back when I taught skiing with her in the 90s. So to have her dad involved, super cool. J.M. Saylor, welcome to the Everydayer program. Glad to have you aboard. Patrick Duke Rosati, thank you for joining as well. Jim Pugh, great to have you aboard. And Daniel Ped, thank you so much. You can join the Everydayer program as well by going to lockedonjazz.supercast.com for Everydayer program. Get you ad-free, Locked On Sports Today, as well as access to our extra Discord channel and the All Access channel. Get you one-on-one communication with me, all my extra notes, all the stuff I usually do on Twitter, I'm now doing there. Extra episodes, Leaf Tulane, all the rest. Glad to have you. All right, let's get to it. I love Ask LOJ because I miss this. So usually I kind of have an idea of what the temperament of the fan base is. Honestly, today, I missed the temperament of the fan base today. I did not expect 5 or 6 really frustrated questions. So is there any reason to trust the front office? They blew up the team 4 years ago and have nothing to show for it except a draft pick that should have been given up years ago, and we're going to be, and he goes on and on and on. So this is interesting because I understand the frustration, right? Like, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm listening to Locked On Grizzlies today, and they refer to the Utah Jazz as a team that's not interested in winning. And it's like, gosh, I'm with you. It'd be nice for us to get to the day again where you're talking about interest in winning. And you're right. We're 4 years into this. Should you trust the front office laid out pretty clearly what they were doing 4 years ago when we traded Rudy Gobert, 3.5, Donovan Mitchell, and started this process. And, Houston did it. It's worked. Detroit did it. It's worked. Oklahoma City did it somewhat. They really traded for Shea. I don't think they're actually a very good tanking example. They only have 2 players out of their draft, 1 player from their tank. But if you look around, Houston is really good, and they did it. It worked here for a little while in Memphis when they got Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson. It's a model. They told us the model they're doing. We're in the midst of it. It's not great fun. It's supposed to have dividends in the long run. We're having a pretty successful season. Keyonte is in year 3 clicking. Ace Bailey looks pretty good. We need one of the other 2 guys to click. Lauri Markkanen for the trade is a good piece. Walker Kessler from the trade is a good piece. So should you trust the front office? I don't think they've lied to you in the sense of what we're doing. It's been pretty obvious. But I get it's frustrating. I don't doubt that. I also do think we have a little bit of a new front office right now. I think Austin Ange has added a different element a little bit to what we had with Danny and Justin. I see a delineation there. And Walter Clayton might be that example. If Walter Clayton clicks in here, you hit with Ace Bailey and Walter Clayton, that's pretty good. Here was another one. I don't know if you can answer this honestly. Is Ryan Smith ambivalent about wanting to be competitive versus we have this new feature that the question goes away and it goes away too fast. I don't know if Ryan Smith, if you can honestly answer this, Ryan Smith ambivalent about wanting to be competitive versus rebuild, hamstringing the organization. Why or why not? Okay, Ryan Smith is not ambivalent about winning. In fact, if Ryan Smith wanted to placate, he had that choice. You hold on to Donovan and Rudy as long as you possibly can. You win about 50 games, and you placate. Probably have to pay a little luxury tax in there, maybe not. And you placate. Instead, Ryan Smith took the jump, which is that team as constructed, as it was, where it was, they didn't feel could win a championship. The mechanism by which for us to go get the star player to go get a championship is to go through this rebuild, trade Donovan, trade Rudy, get the picks, get a bunch of swings at it, and go through it. I don't think there's anything about, I don't understand the rebuild hamstring in the organization, as though he's trying to do that. That seems to me, honestly, to be a little ridiculous. But there's nothing about Ryan Smith that's ambivalent about winning. In fact, Ryan Smith has pretty much won his whole life in everything he's done. So, again, I think that we're 4 years into this. It's frustrating, but this is the hard route. This isn't ambivalent about winning. This is actually willing to do the pain and the difficult thing. My concern as a fan of the organization this entire time has been, we'll bail on the painful part. Houston did the painful part. They went and lost for 3 straight years at a horrific rate and were awful and ended up with Amen Thompson, Jalen Green, Jabari Smith, got a nice trade for Alfred Şengün that wasn't a part of the tank. We're in the situation to take that pick, and it built it. Detroit went through it, got Cade Cunningham, got Austin Thompson, got Jaden Ivey, got Jalen Duren. And they did the paint. So the question to me, it's not ambivalent about winning. It's actually having enough guts to take the pain. And in a first brand new owner who this is the first thing he's done as this team, it's a pretty hard way to do it, because to the first question, what do I trust? What do I have as a background to believe in? The most common thing I hear all the time is the Millers would have never done this. Okay, maybe. But the concept is here that we weren't trying to be in the middle. We're trying to get great. You said on the podcast the other day that the draft ended before Taylor and Cody, as the front office learned that either tank or don't, but playing in no man's land is certain death. So, this is the other side of it, tank harder, right? This is where when we're in this little loop of things, there's such different emotions, everything, tank harder. That might be right, frankly. Yes, in retrospect, we may look back at the Taylor Hendricks and the Cody Williams draft and regret being 9 and 10. Yes, because when I talk about Houston and Detroit, they didn't do that. They were top 5 every year. I don't know if you could handle or if we could stomach 3 or 4 years of last year. And those weren't elite level drafts, but yes, as of right now, our 9th pick, largely due to injury, but also player development, and our 10th pick of those drafts have not materialized. And had we drafted 1 through 5, we probably have players that are impactful, right? So yes, maybe that's it. In retrospect, that we held out for another first-round draft pick on the Russell Westbrook trade. Should have we just unloaded Mike Conley and everyone right away so that, one, I guess, in theory, we had a better chance at Victor, which would have obviously been game-changing, but let's say we end up with 5, and we end up with Amen Thompson, Austin Thompson, or Anthony Black, or someone like that. Maybe. And, I don't know that Reed Shepard or Alex Sarr or obviously Stephen Castle is 4th. He's been pretty good. He still can't shoot. Would have been the answer, but Maybe. So it's interesting to me today. I was not ready for this. I was not ready for, we have not had a lot of fan frustration questions. It's interesting to me the fan frustration seems to have percolated on a year that I would classify as being pretty successful. Yeah, the last two games have sucked, right? Like, it's no fun to be like, I can't imagine there's never been another. I'm going to go on record that the first three quarters of the last two games where we've been outscored by 73 points in 72 minutes is an NBA record. I'm going to guess that maybe the Charlotte Bobcats have won 10 games. But I can't imagine there's been two teams in back-to-back third quarters been outscored by more than a point a minute. So maybe that's what caused it. It was also against the two teams that are going to play in the NBA Finals. So we're not anywhere near that level. But it's interesting to me, and this is why I love Fridays and Ask LOJ, because I don't necessarily dictate the conversation. My conversation for most of the week has been, this is a pretty successful season. Lauri's gotten better. Keyonte's made the jump. We need one of the other 7 to 6 to jump. We found Svi, who's a rotation player. Ace Bailey looks like he's all that. We're just going to have to really work him, and we don't care about Ace Bailey, frankly, until, October of 2027, probably. Like, where is like, not care about, you understand what I'm saying? So, to me, I actually think this season is a pretty successful season. Here, that's surprising to me. But that's why we do Ask LOJ. All right, it is Locked on Jazz. We will move to, there's a question about a little more frustration about the defense. Our everyday or all access members get their questions answered on Ask LOJ as well. So we'll jump to the Ask All Access members here in just 1 second. And I get to be Santa Claus and have Christmas wishes for the Jazz. And somebody wants to relocate the Utah Stars. It's all coming up on today's edition of Locked on Jazz. Friday edition of Locked on Jazz is brought to you by our friends over at Murdoch Hyundai, located at 4646 South State Street. Also located in Logan and in Linden. The good people over at Murdoch have been in Utah for now, close to 100 years, I guess it is. We've been with Murdoch for 8. And it's been amazing. And I really go back to just who Blake is in my interactions and what they believe in their role in our community, and makes me very comfortable to send you over to Murdoch and know you'll get the customer service you deserve. Also, the Hyundai car, which we have purchased multitude of. If you look at it for the bells and whistles, for the price point, for the safety features, and then you decide on look, that's personal. There's really not much you can do that's better than a Hyundai. The Santa Fe I'm driving right now is awesome. The hybrid I fill up the gas tank. I got about 600 miles worth of miles every time I fill up a tank. If you're going to head over there, though, let's get you the VIP you deserve by being a Locked On Everydayer. Email me at dlock09@gmail.com. That's dlock09@gmail.com. And I'll set you up with the VIP meeting that you deserve over at Murdoch. Let me know if you're going to Murray, if you're going to Linden, or if you're going to Logan to get done. Today's show is also brought to you by ZocDoc. So it's 2025, really, for that matter, it's 2026, and the days of waiting for someone to become a full-blown emergency before you see a doctor, that should be over. No more walking it off for 6 months. No more pretending the weird shoulder stiffness is just sleeping wrong. It's time to take your health seriously, and ZocDoc makes that easier than ever, because staying healthy is more than hitting the gym or eating right. It's actually getting things checked out when something feels off. So here's how ZocDoc makes your life easier. Using ZocDoc makes scheduling easier. Search for in-network doctors and book right in the app. Real appointment times are listed, including same-day visits. No more back-and-forth phone calls or waiting weeks to be seen. Super helpful for routine checkups and those little issues that have been meaning to get checked out. So it makes it simple. Use the schedule appointments quickly and don't wait weeks. It helps you stay on top of your health. The app is quick, clean, and honestly removes all the stress of finding the right doctor. So stop putting off your doctor's appointments and get the care you need. Go to ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNBA to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor. That's Zoc, ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNBA, ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNBA. I don't want to be just like the whiner, so I probably should just stay quiet. But can I add having an internet speed that's faster than a hotspot is another requirement I'd like in a hotel? Is that a fair request? Maybe I'm begging at this point. All right. Jazz play the Memphis Grizzlies tonight. Ball game will be on all of the various fun stations. One note for you on Memphis: Zach Edey is out, which is very concerning for them because he's 300 pounds and he has a ankle problem. When he, in the first 13 games of the year, when he did not play, Memphis was 26th in the league offensively and 25th in the league defensively. When he did play, they were the second best off defense in the NBA. So that is a massive, massive impact on them. These are my notes. See? For every game. For those on YouTube. All right. All access Everydayer Club. Here's what you get. We're excited about it. I'm super excited. I'm hoping to have a good, intimate group, few hundred people, that kind of becomes a way to communicate and talk and have all the things we used to have on sports Twitter. That's my vision for this. The Discord channel for all the Everydayers is supposed to be that. So Everydayer program is for $5 a month or $50 a year, which is 2 months off. You get ad-free access to the exclusive Locked On Discord channel, and you get Locked On Sports Today. Boom. All Access Club, you get a whole shebang. One-on-one texting with me, messaging throughout the day. I dropped a few notes. I shared my prep notes today on the Jazz team breakdown. Shows you how I look at how I do things. Leave Tuline's All Access bonus episodes about the draft and upcoming player breakdowns and things like that. All of college basketball. Get it for you. Those are All Access exclusive. 15% off in the merch store. Only people that get access to it are the Everydayer Club members. Nobody else has access to the merch store. You also get a newsletter every single day in your inbox about the show and Discord and Locked On Sports Today and ad-free and boom. Okay. Those are all available for you. Go to lockedonjazz.supercast.com or go to lockedonpodcast.com/everydayer. Those are the two sites, lockedonjazz.com, lockedonjazz.supercast.com or lockedonpodcast.com/everydayer. All right, let's get to it. Awesome. Why is the defense so bad? Is it talent, effort, or coaching? Okay, first thing is the defense is bad. That is unfortunate. The defense is bad again. We are now 28th in the NBA in defense. We are, I'm not big into like hiding these things. We are 28th in the league in defense. We are 30th in half-court defense. We are better this year in transition than we were a year ago. We are 30th in the NBA against the pick and roll. Here's what's interesting about this. We're the number one shot location defense in the NBA. The biggest thing Will Hardy wanted to do this year was take away the rim from teams, force them to shoot threes and get off the rim. And guess what? We have done exactly that. I did wonder if it was hometown scorekeeping for a while, but we have the number one location effective field goal percentage defense. And we have the number one rim. We're denying the most shots at the rim. Okay. And we're 17th best at denying the corner three. Like, that's actually pretty good. If you're number one at the rim and you're in the middle of the pack denying the corner three, that's pretty good. Now, we allow a lot of above the break threes, which actually I think we want to. And we allow the most mid-range shots in the league, which is what we want to. So now the question, so why is the defense so bad? I don't want to just cop out here, but like Walker's injury kills it. And here's how you can see that. We're 29th in the league at defending shots when they get to the rim. We're 30th in the league in pick and roll defense. Those are the two things Walker does. Yusuf Nurkic is wonderful. He is not very good side to side. He is not a rim defender. He does not play with verticality. Nor does Kevin Love, nor does Kyle Filipowski. So we have literally nobody on the roster that can protect above the rim. Therefore, I do think it's a talent issue this year. I think we just do not have a roster that is made up to be a good defensive team. If you're going to be a good defensive team, you're going to have either a rim defense or long, athletic, forceful defensive players on the wing. And so we tried to do that by drafting Taylor Hendricks, Cody Williams, and they have not been, and they're not ready to play. So Svi has battled, but he's not particularly long. Keyonte's defense has gotten better. He's not particularly long. Ace is too young to know what he's doing, but he will be a good defender or could be a good defender if he commits to it. And Lauri's just not a very good defender. Lauri's isolation numbers are bad, and recently he's been pigeoned a little bit for people who shot after him. So to answer your question on this one, I think the defense is bad because of talent. I thought Danny Ainge was super interesting on Hans and Scotty about effort, where effort comes out of confidence. And so we may have a lack of confidence at times, which then you're just not as sure of what you're doing. You're not playing. It's obviously maturity. So maturity and confidence is kind of where Danny Ainge talked about with effort in some ways. And I thought that was a really interesting perspective on that. So I don't think it's coaching in that. One of the things I would look at is like if our shot location was bad, I'd be worried about coaching. And so the fact that we have the number one team in the league at denying shots at the rim, to me, is a pretty good sign of what the Jazz want to do defensively. The new article out on Yahoo on calf strain injuries being on the rise, what changed so much from John and Carl does. I mean, and players regularly going 82. If you watch the game, it's just like there's nothing similar about the game today. I am very concerned that we're breaking the players. We're playing 105 to 100 possessions a night. We're playing in massive space. Everyone's rotating all the time. The amount of closeouts a player has every single game. This is not about players being soft. This is about the way the game is being played today, with the pace, with the change in directions, with the space you have to close, with the amount of area you have to guard, with the fact that all five players are skilled, and so everyone has to be guarded, and everyone can dribble, and everyone can pass, maybe breaking the players. I'm very concerned about this. I got in a huge argument at dinner. It was nice at Ruth Chris. We started yelling at Buddy and I about load management. I'm not worried about load management. I'm worried about we're legitimately breaking our players. I think there's a real concern here. Comparing the game to the 90s is a laughable concept. We played 90 possessions a night. We're now playing 104. We're literally playing 15% more times up and down in each direction. If you just think about that logically, every 5 games is an extra game played than what you used to do. So if you want to do the equivalent of games played, every 20, we're playing 20% more possessions almost per game. It's 20%. If you just do the math on that, that's what it, so then 82 is the equivalent, 70 is the equivalent of 82. The amount of time. Furthermore, Karl Malone's guarding Charles Oakley. He couldn't do anything with the basketball. He's guarding Buck Williams. He's guarding him in a 3-foot radius. Think about the guys who you're guarding in that day and age. Karl Malone's playing Charles Barkley. He played in an 8-foot radius. You're playing Buck Williams. He played in a 2-foot radius. You're guarding Charles Oakley. He played in a 1-foot radius. Run down all those guys in those years. You're not moving defensively. You're guarding your man. You're putting a forearm and you're sitting on his. And Markine's pointing while standing in the middle of the floor that somebody's like, right. Come on. There's just nothing comparable at all. It's not that today's day and age players are soft. All right, all access members get their questions answered on Fridays. If you want to ensure top 5 picks, discuss the pros and cons of moving off Nurkic and just playing Hendricks and Flip. Specifically, what does history say about the damage that can be done to playing a player too early? If we trade Nurkic, we'll guarantee our draft pick. And Nurkic is a negative points gain player and probably not a great defensive player, but we don't have a backup center. So if we trade Nurkic at the trade deadline, we'll guarantee to keep our draft pick. I get very concerned when you overplay a player and break their confidence. I believe that you can do it. There's different points of view on it, but I certainly think on Taylor right now, it's not a question of confidence. Just he needs 25, 30 minutes. Did you see the Stars game last night? Scored like 175 points. And Taylor and Cody weren't even like the big scorers. And they didn't play huge minutes either, actually. They played like 24. But Taylor needs 24 to 30 minutes a night. And right now at the NBA level, he's getting 12. Cody needs confidence and needs skill development. So I actually don't mind playing Taylor right now. 30 minutes in the NBA. He won't be very good, but I wouldn't mind playing Taylor 30 minutes in the NBA after All-Star break, just to get him that opportunity. Would it make more sense to have the in-season tournament over Christmas? That would get more eyes on games and give teams who aren't in there more time to their families. P.S. Join the Everydayer Club, and it's more than I could imagine. Thank you. That's an interesting concept. There has been some talk of whether we should move it. It is in the dead period where no one's paying attention. Everyone's watching football, and it is creating more viewership and more excitement. To some extent, the NBA season starts on Christmas Day anyway. And there's an interesting question of you want to have 5 games on Christmas, but is there some way you do it so that the NBA Cup game is in there somewhere in that break? It's interesting. it's worth looking into. It's a very good idea. All right, we'll continue. More questions coming up. I get to be Santa Claus. We're going to redraft an NBA draft. And should we move the Stars to St. George? Those are all the questions that continue on this edition of Locked On Jazz Ask LOJ edition. Friday edition of Locked On Jazz is also brought to you by Quo. When I say Quo, I mean like status quo, like Q-U-O, if you're wondering. That's what I'm telling you. This is a neat company because, frankly, I'm jealous. As I've said every time I've ever done this, I wish we had it before. So, new year, new systems. And this is the time when a lot of us look at the messier parts of running a business and think there's got to be a better way. There was a lot better way than Locked On having my personal phone number for 8 years. Today's episode is brought to you by Quo, and they solved that. Q-U-O. It's the smarter way to run your business communications. If you're ready to make your workday smoother, keep customers connected without the headaches, Quo makes upgrading your system and setup even easier. A streamlined system, such a difference when communicating with customers. So you have calls, texts, voicemails, all in one clean view, keeps everything organized and helps you stay responsive. And being able to share one number makes it easier to make sure nothing gets missed. AI summaries and call logging can feel like having an assistant keeping track of every detail. It's surprisingly easy. Make this year where no opportunity, no customer slips away. Try Quo, Q-U-O, for free, plus 20% off your first 6 months when you go to quo.com/LockedOnNBA. That's quo.com/LockedOnNBA. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. And today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. Another NFL Sunday is coming your direction, and you can get into all the action with FanDuel. That one big play and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place your bets on actions unfold, every drive, every momentum, every swing, every highlight. Live betting is the best way to get the games to shift. A receiver gets hot, a defense tightens, momentum flips after a turnover. FanDuel lets you jump into the moment. Live spreads and money lines adjust instantly. Player props upgrade as the game heats up. And you can bet the next touchdown, drive result, totals, and more. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this NFL season, visit FanDuel.com. Place your NFL live bets all season long at FanDuel. The game moves fast, and so can you. Oops. Thanks so much for making Locked On Jazz your first listen of the day. I want to mention one thing I was just actually thinking while I was reading that commercial. On the Ryan Smith commitment to winning question. So I have obviously an access to Ryan. I talk to him not a lot, but every now and then. But I also have an access as an employee. I look incredibly committed to winning. I understand the question. Like, we haven't won since he took over. The other one I would just say on Ryan is completely committed to the fan experience. And the fan experience going to a Jazz game and being a Jazz fan is way better than it was 4 years ago, as much as we're not winning. And so to some extent, like, he took this painful route of being willing to lose to try to win, but at the same time got you K-Jazz, got you streaming, concession prices in the arena are better, fan experience is better, in-game ops is better. All the things he controls are very committed to trying. We're giving you the in-arena broadcast now, ArenaCast. All those things are very consistent to a better fan experience, and and winning's next. And he's got hockey rolling a little bit. Redraft the last 3 drafts combined. Victor, Amon, Cooper. Then who? Does Ace get top 10? Does anyone from 2024 land in the top? So I'm not going to do, I love the concept. It's actually a great piece for my All Access. This is the kind of stuff I'm doing on All Access. So I love this. I might actually do it on All Access. I don't want to bore everyone to death here. Here's the one thing that I do want to say about this because I thought it was interesting. I don't think anyone in the 2024 draft makes the top 10. Richachet, Sarr, Shepard, Castle, Holland, Salon, Klingon, Dillingham, Edey. I would have thought Edey maybe before. But like the guys with the 5 biggest minutes played in that draft class for center, Bub Carrington, who might not be good, Jalen Wells, who's a really good player for Memphis, second-round draft pick, Stephen Castle, Keyonte George, and Zachary Richachet. Those are the 5 biggest minutes guys. On Ace Bailey, whether Ace Bailey would top 10, there is a chance, by the way, that Ace Bailey was drafted 5th this year because he's the 5th best player in this draft. And the other, not because there's anything wrong with Ace Bailey, the other 4 are awesome. I mean, Dylan Harper might be really good. He's not shooting well, nor is Cooper Flagg. They're both 25, 26% from 3, which is a little disconcerting. And VJ Edgecombe might be really good, and so Con Knippel's really good. Frankly, Trey Johnson's really good, and Jeremiah Fears has been pretty good. The top 7 of this draft is big time. And then Derek Queen's getting huge opportunity playing well. And the 11th pick, Cedric Howard's really good. So if you redraft these last drafts, certainly Victor is 1, and I think Cooper is 2. So I think that's, of interest. But every single one of the players from that point, Amon Thompson, Amon Thompson's probably 3. Like, they're all coming in, but they also might be Dylan, the top 5 picks of the NBA draft of last year might be the next 3 guys. Like, I think Dylan Harper, VJ Edgecombe, Con Knippel, and Ace Bailey all probably project better than Brandon Miller at this point. They might project better than Amon Thompson, too, shooting 21% from 3. So there's a chance that if you redrafted that whole draft, I guess I'm now doing it. It's Victor, Cooper, and then it's Dylan Harper, VJ Edgecombe, Con Knippel, and Ace Bailey. I would put Amon Thompson in there somewhere, I think, but maybe not. He's really good. The shooting thing is real, though. Fun question. You talked about Taylor's season injury setting him or the franchise back a whole year. Is the Kessler injury is significant? No, because I think Walker knew how to play, knows how to play, was established as a player. It is setting us back, though, that he and Keyonte are not working together. That's a bad pick-and-roll combination last year, and they don't get any reps this year. That is bad. I mean, there's nothing good about the Walker injury. Do you think you can build a championship-level team around 2 below-average defenders such as Key and Lauri? If not, does it relegate Key to a 6-man role eventually? Well, I'm not just trying to be a jerk, but you can't win a champion. You're not building a championship team around Key and Lauri. Like, you're building a championship team around if Ace Bailey hits in somebody else, and then Lauri is your 2nd or 3rd best player, and Key's your 4th or 5th. So, do you need them to? Lauri is 7-1 and can be a good defensive player, and Key can be a good defensive player too. I'm going to save the Christmas question until next week because we're running late. I had a bunch of trade questions, which I don't seem to have gotten to. One of them was if you could, how did I miss all the trade questions? Do you foresee a trade deadline, or are we giving grace to players and riding this out until the trade deadline? I don't quite understand that. I think we're riding out to the trade deadline. Over under 2.5 players traded by the deadline. Under. Would you consider trading Walker Kessler to the Pacers if you were able to get a 2026 first-round pick? They would never make that trade. So, yes, I would. Indiana would, under zero circumstance, trade their first-round draft pick, particularly pre-lottery, to us for Walker Kessler. So, I guess, yes, I would. I love Walker. But if they would never make the trade, I think we probably should. The Walker-Indiana trade rumor kind of has me flustered. It's Indiana's a team that's going to be interested in Walker. Like, if Walker becomes a restricted free agent and is going to go get an offer, Indiana could give him a big one. So that could be real because Indiana needs a center, and Walker would fit beautifully. He runs well enough. Thoughts about moving the Stars to St. George? Us in Southern Utah feel very disconnected from the Jazz. Would absolutely love to have a piece of them down here. Probably more ticket sales. I actually agree with you 100%. They would sell more tickets. It'd be a good business move. The problem is, the whole concept of the Stars is they let them they can practice with the Jazz, be around the Jazz. Taylor can practice with the Jazz in the morning, play for the Stars in the afternoon. All those kind of things would go out the window if you're in St. George. It's just too far away. But I think that maybe the Jazz should consider playing some Stars games in St. George. Yes, I think that'd be great. Give us an honest reaction how would you react if OKC wins the lottery on the Clippers pick and picks up a 9th pick from the Jazz after repeating his NBA champion? Like, super. Happy holidays. Happy holidays. Great thought. You want my honest opinion? Yeah, it'll lose my job if I gave you my honest opinion. How about you go bungee jumping without an attachment with that idea? That's what I think. That's what I would do, frankly. Let's go do that Moab, whatever, jumping off cliff things without a freaking parachute if that happens. Thanks. Happy holidays. That was a pleasant way to end the show. He says with a smirk and a smile. God, that's just a freaking disaster. All right. Thank you very much. If you want to follow me on socials, it's DLock09. Ron and I will be with you postcast after the game on Saturday. Hope everything's going great for you. Have a great weekend. Might throw out a little bonus content on our All Access this weekend if I have something. Please join the Everydayer Club, everydayer.com/ or lockedonpodcast.com/everydayer. Ad-free, Locked On Sports Today exclusive Discord channel for $5 a month. All access. You get direct messages from me. You can email me. You can direct message me back, and I'll get back to you. In-game updates tonight throughout the game of what I'm seeing. Scouting reports before the ball game. Prep notes before the ball game. Leaf Tuline's all access content. All access exclusive content from Leaf Tulane and articles from Leaf Tulane. Daily newsletter. 15% off the merch store. Access to the merch store. It's all there. Go to lockedonpodcast.com/everydayer. Thanks so much for tuning in, or go to lockedonjazz.simplecast.com. You are the best. Have a wonderful weekend. This has been Locked On Jazz. We now send you the first ever national NBA channel on YouTube, Locked On NBA, or on audio. Check out Locked On NBA every game, every day with Game Night.